Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Today on MTP, we go over the Red Sox blowing 2 straight games as the ALCS now heads back to Houston. We recap Week 6 in the NFL, including the Cowboys' overtime win versus the England Patriots, and we go over the Week 7 power rankings. This is Missing the Point, episode 92, but it's all relative.
We talked Red Sox. I mean, I definitely want to get into...
A little depressing at the moment, isn't it? They're like definitely going to lose.
It's trending that direction.
Yeah, Craig, you were so confident, man. You got my confidence up, and
hey,
it's just come crashing down to earth so fast, man. It's
sort of feels like the fucking... I think the Astros didn't really look like themselves in the first couple games, and now they're doing the thing they're doing to everybody else where they can just peel off like 9 fucking runs. Like they're just good with the bat.
Well, I mean, you think about it, dude. Their pitchers in the first 3 games didn't get out of the first fucking 2 innings.
Right.
So it's like you not only are you not getting quality starts out of your starting pitching, but you're not getting anything out of your starting pitching. The Red Sox should have been up 3-0.
That's the thing. That was the turn. That was the turning point.
And we dominated those first couple games. That game 1, we had one. What was it, game 4? It's all kind of blending together in the one shit show at this point.
Yes.
But like
game 4 was the blown lead, right?
Yeah, game 4 was the blown lead, and Nate hit that spot when it was 2-2. And bro, there's just so many different things that have happened where it's like it doesn't seem like it is the Red Sox series. The bats got too hot, I feel like.
Yeah. Apparently the Astros are doing that to fucking everybody, though.
Yeah, I have a theory where like you shouldn't score all your runs all at once. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they should have let off the gas in game 2 and 3 because we scored 14 runs in fucking both those games.
What if the same thing is true for the Astros though? Because they've fired off like fucking 15 runs across the last 2 games.
Yeah. Sure.
So maybe they dry up. You know, it's a tough hill to climb at this point though because we had home field there for a second. So it's like. That sucks.
I checked the score last night after dinner. I was like, Red Sox lose 9-1. I was like, again?
Yeah. Like you thought it was a repeat.
Yeah, I thought it was, am I living in the past?
Yeah, that's like it's like the Matrix deja vu. But again, you have to remember they weren't supposed to make it this far.
No, they weren't. Everything's gravy after this.
But also it's like, it's almost worse when your team like exceeds expectations and it makes you start to think like, oh, maybe, and then right when you start thinking that, they fucking pull that away.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Welcome, everyone. Missing the point. I'm Real BK Bob Kevin. That's DK. That's Craig. We're already talking about Red Sox because, we just couldn't even wait for the show to start talking about it. So let's just get into the Red Sox. So like you were just saying, bro, I just think this Red Sox team, once we beat the Yankees, honestly, it was gravy after that. And then beating the Rays was just unbelievable.
I kind of had a hunch. We were going to beat the Yankees just because of the narrative. Like I just felt like we had the ability to like get in their heads, get in the fans' heads. Because you know how Yankees fans are thinking right now, like as much as they'll be like, oh, we've won 1 billion World Series. It's like, well, in baseball especially, you can't count World Series you weren't alive for. So sorry. So in our lifetime as like a bunch of 31 to 35-year-olds, we fucking absolutely own them. So that fan base, I think, gets a little tetchy in games like that, and especially like in do or die situations with us. Mm-hmm. And you could feel that coming through. I really didn't think we were going to beat the Rays. That was just like, that was a shock to me.
They're a great baseball team. They play the game of baseball like it's meant to be played. They play great defense.
Yeah.
They don't allow extra runs. They get the hits when they're supposed to.
We rode momentum against them.
Yeah, that's exactly. Once the bats got going against the Rays, they didn't stop. And unlike this series, it's a 7-game series. So I feel like it was a 5-game series. So I feel like once we got hot in that series, we stayed hot. And the Rays are much younger, less experienced. So as soon as we got in their heads and we got rolling, they were like, oh my God, this team isn't going to stop.
Yeah.
And it was just downhill from there. The Astros, I do feel a little different. They've been here before. They have Bregman, Altuve. They have these dudes that have been here. They have these dudes that are very keen on whistling. I've been here. But it's just, they're a different squad, man. And as soon as we blew that game, it's like me and Rayshawn have been talking a lot during all this. And this dude, he knows this Red Sox team, I just have to say. And as soon as that opportunity in game 4, when we had runners on second and third to blow that game wide open, they didn't capitalize on it. As soon as that happened, we knew. You know what I mean? You know that this team, it's just the way way they operate. Right. As soon as they miss their opportunity to break open a lead or get guys on base.
Once a streak ends for them, I think, which has been true for the whole season. When once they kind of they'll ride a wave, and I think everybody was just hoping that the wave would continue for longer. Mm-hmm. And I think Ray, you're right, was saying, I mean, Ray's also good for being like, we're fucked at the first opportunity.
No, it's so funny,
it's
man.
all of our teams. However, I will say in this situation, he's pretty spot on.
Yeah, because it's just, as soon as they have the gas let out of their sails or the air let out of their sails, whatever the fuck the expression is, you know what I'm saying? As soon as that happens,
no pun intended.
This team just takes a downfall, man. And it just seems like once it starts going against them, they can't get it back. I hope they do. Game 6 is going to be tough. We got Nate going, though. That's the most encouraging thing to me is Nate could come out and throw 6 innings, 1 run, 11 Ks, and just be absolute nails. And if that happens, we're in business, man. It scares me. It's back in Houston because that Red Sox team fed off that crowd.
I'll say this about that point is in the playoffs in all sports, overcoming adversity is the biggest thing that will ride a team's momentum. And we've already overcome adversity once in this postseason because the guys that were supposed to be performing in that Rays series were performing, and we still were able to pull it out. So you have to think maybe they can climb the mountain because of that. I also will say I saw a little sign in the stars because I looked on the ESPN app today to see what time the Red Sox were going to start. And it said in California time, it was 5:08 p.m., which is my area code for Central Mass. Mm. So it made me think maybe something's written in the stars. Maybe.
A little shout out to the 5:08. I like it.
Yeah, little Central Mass shout out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It remains to be seen. It's been such a fucking weird series that we could win 15-0 tonight, and all of a sudden everything's changed. I mean, I know it's tough because we have to go back to Houston, but let's see.
Yeah, man. I mean, I do think we're going to do it. I honestly do. What makes me nervous, though, is, so you knew Kiki Hernandez wasn't going to keep up at the rate he was hitting. It's just not. He was playing so out of his mind.
I mean, that game 4, he had an insane, he had a 600 batting average. His slugging percentage was out of control. And it's how do you keep those numbers up? You know what I mean?
Oh, for his last 8? Is that right?
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Right. So you have a dude that was literally the anchor of your lineup for most of these games, and he's just not producing at that rate. However, I do think this is Devers and Bogart's game. And I swear to fucking God, if Hunter Renfroe hits into another goddamn double play in this game coming up, I'm going to absolutely.
It's tough.
I'll go to Houston and I'll take this dude down myself because I can't fucking take this anymore. I can't.
Their bats are hot, man. It's tough.
Yeah, we'll see.
We gotta play some defense. We gotta play some smart defense. We gotta try to, it's just a stop the bleeding situation in these innings too. It's you just can't let them pop off for 4 or 5 runs in a single inning. You know what I mean? You just have to manage those scores a little bit better. And I think we're gonna be. I'll put it to you this way: we're gonna know by probably the second inning how this game's gonna go tonight, and it's gonna be pretty clear if it's gonna be a repeat of Game 5 or if it's gonna be a repeat of Game 2.
Tonight, as in when this gets released, it'll be tonight. Yeah. Right.
Sorry. Yeah. Whatever. I don't understand time anymore. Yes.
Time's a linear concept for you at this point.
It's a flat circle, dude. I don't even know where I am or what day it is. I've been very busy.
Just base your week around football. Listen, there's one game tonight, so you know it's either Thursday or Monday.
Yeah.
And football didn't happen yesterday.
Those
so
are like some of the only anchors, bro. There's some of the only anchors because I was just telling Bobby, for the listeners beforehand, I've just been very busy with work and I'm averaging like 100-hour work weeks. So that's probably why I look like a fucking recovering drug addict right now. But I also am one. So
that and the drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, minus the recovering. So I've been so busy, but like it's great because I did get a chance to just sit down and watch football on Sunday. And the fucking Bears couldn't just do me the one solid for just like an absolute dick kick of a few weeks to just like beat the fucking Packers. And then not to transition aggressively here, but I like have to get this off my chest. It had to be a Packers loss where like a fucking Aaron Rodgers moment went viral because he said he still owned the Bears. And like the thing is, you know, and it's like it's just like
what are you gonna say to that? You know what? Well, you're a jerk.
Well, I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you something else. I'm not saying we would have won that game, and I'm not a big proponent of blaming the referees when it comes to football. I don't know if you saw the game, but there was about 4 or 5 momentum killers for the Bears on blown calls. Like Justin Fields' first interception. I know, I can see the look on your face. You're like, I don't know. I think you guys still would have lost. But if you had to watch the game, momentum is important, especially in a divisional game like that. I think Justin Fields' interception, his box score didn't reflect his performance. His first interception, he thought it was a free play because it should have been, because there was a neutral zone infraction and they didn't throw a flag, which is fucking horseshit. Like that should be a free play, so you should just be able to toss it up to the end zone. I get that he's a rookie and he didn't see the flag fly, but he saw the guy jump, and that's a good read. You know, you see the guy jump, the referees don't. So you think, all right, it's a free play, you know, and then he throws a pick that they count, which was frustrating. He tried to call a timeout for a delay game that took us out of field goal range, and they didn't look at him, or they were like looking at him, but they didn't call, they just called the delay game instead of seeing the timeout and giving him the timeout, which is really frustrating. He got his bell rung on a slide, and they called a bullshit hold to offset the penalties. And it's like, dude, the whole reason all those unnecessary roughness plays are in the game is to like keep the players safe. You can't offset that shit with a 5-yard holding call. Like, they don't offset it. Like, one's 15 yards and one's fucking 5 yards or whatever, or 10 yards or whatever. It's like, at least give us 5 yards and give us a down back. You know what I mean? You can't, or whatever. Sorry. Look, the point is, the kid's a rookie. He's got a guy who is pretty much common knowledge is half a retard coaching him. And he's still putting in good performances. Help the kid out, you know? Don't call those fucking bullshit, like pickpocket fucking penalties against him when he's just trying to get a little momentum going. I will say this, as much as it was unfortunate for Aaron Rodgers to be basically looking through the camera into my soul and telling me he still owns me, and not know. And, you know, I started to
drive that one home. Just
yeah. No, listen, I'm not denying that. Okay. I understand. I've lived it. Okay. I've lived it.
I think it's like, isn't it like 38-6? Something like that. Like,
I think it's 5. I think we've only been
38-5.
Yeah.
My God. Not to bring it down the road. But
no, I know. It's fine. Rub it in. It's totally fine. I mean, I had one moment of enjoyment this football season when we pulled out a good win, and then you had to shit on that by telling me Brian Urlacher was a fucking MAGA guy. I wasn't even doing anything except for enjoying myself, and you just had to wade in and be like, oh yeah, are you enjoying that? Because for the listeners at home, I was going in our group chat saying that when the Bears basically got John Gruden fired, I was like, we've done it. We've defeated racism, sexism, and misogyny. And I was just doing a bit, and it wasn't hurting anybody. And Bobby wanted to just wait. And I made a comment. I was like, people are turning in their MAGA hats. We've defeated racism. And Bobby was like, yeah, did Brian Urlacher fucking turn in his? So unnecessary. You can thank
the doctor for that one.
So unnecessary. Like the one moment of like, it's like, I'm not going to get a lot of joy out of this season. And you just have to shit on that moment where, by the way, like finally you shit on it. I would just like to claim
you won
my victory over John Gruden's career. Just officially here on the podcast, I'm claiming the victory. I did not shut the fuck up about John Gruden being an idiot for the longest time. I didn't know he was like a Nazi.
Yeah, he was, bro.
But I just thought he was kind of dumb. But then then you read his emails and he's like, I just think we should be kept separate, you know, but equal. And maybe women should be in the kitchen. I don't know what the fucking email said, but it sounded like something like that. He's like emailing his wife, like, honey, can you press my Klan robe? I got a big rally this week, and whatever the fuck he was saying. But I also will say, on the other hand, like, I don't know. I bet if you saw the emails of half the fucking coaches in the NFL, they'd probably be grizzly fucking reading. So whatever.
At least 75% in the owners. But
yeah, I'd say 100% of 100% of Dallas Cowboys coaches have said something racist in an email in the last 10 years. So it's like whatever. But it's part of the job requirement to get a job down there under Jerry Jones. I think. No, I'm just kidding. But Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, and just to circle back, Justin Fields is a fucking great quarterback. And like, he's going to be the man in Chicago for the next 10 to 15 years. He's got it. He looks the part. He makes plays. He's fast as shit. He's got a good arm, a tight spiral. He makes good decisions for his deep ball. His deep ball, I guess, was supposed to be like his big thing coming in. And I think he's yipping that a little bit for whatever reason. I think he'll dial it in though. And sometimes his receivers aren't really doing him favors. So there was positives to take from that game for me as a natural optimist. But that Aaron Rodgers touchdown hurt. That fucking hurt.
I have to say, the Bears would be. It's unbelievable how evident and obvious it is that their head coach is holding that team back.
Oh, yeah.
It's so evident and obvious that I hate to bring up Cowboys in relation to this, but it reminds me so much of Jason Garrett, man. It really does.
Right? Yeah, you said that to me before. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he's such a lame duck and. So he gave up. All right. So Matt Nagy before last week gave up play calling duties, right?
Right. To Laser. Yeah.
Isn't that what he was hired for? Isn't that what he is? Yeah. So
he's supposed to be the offensive
guru,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the same thing as Garrett, where it's like, okay, so now you don't call plays.
Yeah.
So if the bombs from Office Space came into the Chicago Bears organization, right? What do you do? What do you do?
I'm curious. I'm curious. He claps and says, "Everybody do a great job."
Look out for some clappers, bro. That's what he's going to turn into.
Well, you're right. A and B. The crazy part about it is, and I knew this wasn't going to happen. Like I knew enough about Matt Nagy, and I watched enough Chicago Bears football to know that this wasn't going to happen. But on paper, what you're saying, Justin Fields should have been his bread and fucking butter, right? He should have come in. He should have been able to run. The fact that he ran 0 back sets in that first game for the entire game makes me think he's never even watched a game of football, never mind coached it. And I just think I think he's in his own head. I think he's playing safe. I think he's so conservative. Like that's the thing for me. He's so conservative. At least Laser calls plays where he tries to like dump it down the field a little bit. But the problem is even Laser sucks at calling plays because he can see the obvious stuff. But on the very last play of the game, when we were trying to like come back and like make something of it, he ran a play which was all deep routes and deep curls. And it's like, and I think it was like Collinsworth was looking at it and he was like, they didn't give him any time to get the ball out of his hands. Like the pocket collapsed, he had to run and like nobody had even turned around yet by the time he got sacked. And it's like, that is boneheaded play calling. You know what I mean? And the crazy part is we have the personnel. I'm sure very similar to the Cowboys when Garrett was the coach. We're on our third string running back and he was running all over the Packers.
He's good. I like him.
Yeah. And he is good. And we have good run blocking. We have all this different stuff. We have great defenders, but obviously it's scheming. Obviously it's scheming on both sides of the ball. That's the worst part. We're always giving up big plays on defense. Like we'll make plays because of the personnel, but we'll always give up big plays on defense it's obvious big plays is the worst part. It's like, dude, of course they were going to do that. Like, how did you not like defend against that? They're just trying to, because they think you guys are dumb because you are. Like, stop it. They all need to be fired. And Pace needs to go too, is the thing. That's the worst part of it. Pace needs to fucking go too. And like, I'm pretty sure the owner is senile and she doesn't even know what's going on. So they might just stay around until I kill them. I don't really know the solution here. Like, should I protest? I don't know. I can't get to Chicago, but we'll see.
But so, I don't know if everyone else heard, but there was another game on Sunday.
Thank God we're done talking about that. It's so
I was going to transition off just for your safety. Wait, before I go, I have to say, the Aaron Rodgers thing, it's so funny to me because...
Yeah, I bet it fucking is.
Not even funny, though, because it's like, I've been there before, because it's like, what can you even say? It's like, he's like, I own you. And Bears fans are just like, well, you're not nice. You know what I mean? You're not a nice person, dude. Like, what are you going to... Anyways.
I mean, listen, it sucks that like an aging homeless man still owns us. It's sucks really that like, but I also will say, just if I was to truly think of one retort to Mr. Rogers in his neighborhood, it's that like winning regular season games against the Chicago Bears does not put you in the upper echelons of where you consider yourself. And as far as like how everyone talked about your skill, your potential, and your ability at the quarterback position, Tom Brady still owns you. So I guess by subsidiary, we're both just satellite companies in the Tom Brady empire, you know?
Living vicariously still.
I mean, it's just like, you're not even that good, though.
Yeah,
so fuck
fair.
you. Like, yeah, you can beat the Bears. Like, cool. The Bears haven't even been that good while you're the quarterback. But I also remember Brett Favre, too.
So it's all that
it's been a long...
The lady flipped him off. So he gave him the double bird, bro. She gave him the double bird. And
That's right.
He just
and
saw red.
People in Chicago are very nice people. So
As
he must have really brought that out of him.
As evidenced by the double bird.
He must have really brought that out of him.
But anyway, so I have waited this long. It's been 20 minutes into the show now. And I haven't talked about my Dallas Cowboys.
It works out great because, like, you know, we don't have, unless Craig decides to really weigh in here, we really don't have anyone to defend the Patriots. So we can just shit on them as much as we like, unless Craig has to, like, really mount a defense.
Well, so wait, hey, hang on. Before any defense starts, I just have to say, Dak Prescott is a man. He is unbelievable, man. For the Cowboys to go into New England, by the way, I have to be this guy, but like, I was there. It was fucking awesome. We were in like the fucking luxury suites. Amazing. Shout out to Imperial Cars in Mendon, the little town of Mendon.
I know that.
Most unbelievable football game I've ever been to. Dak Prescott is so unreal.
He's a man, you said?
He's a man among boys, is what it looks like.
I mean, gender is a construct, Bobby. Come on, it's 2020.
Oh, all right. But so, for them to go into New England and have to play not only the Patriots, I'm going to be that guy, but the refs too, man, but the refs too and themselves, and for them to still come out of there with a victory is just a testament to how good. Personally, I know I'm very biased here, but this is the best Cowboys team I've seen in a very long time. The way that they operate, the way that I'm like getting out of breath because I'm so excited about it. The way that they operate, the way that they present themselves, how they win the ball games. It's just, I don't know. I'm like speechless about it because like I'm still
Don't
waiting.
Be speechless is kind of the whole thing we do here.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the glass slipper to break at the end of the night. You know what I mean? Because like,
yeah,
bro,
me too.
I've been here so many times, and I think that like I'm like, yeah, this is the year. It never fucking is. But like, bro, this really does feel like the year when we're down 2 points with 2.5 minutes left, right? And you're like, we're done. It's over. Only way that we can be saved is if Trevon Diggs intercepts his ball and takes it back from 6. And then the next play, he goddamn does it. Granted, yes, a play later, he gave up a 75-yard bomb. But that's besides the point. We just stick to this point. And it's like, it's just when you want them to do the thing, they do it. And
you play to win the game.
It's amazing.
As a small counter, just for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
I do think, and I was on record early in the season as citing this Cowboys defense as a solid ball hawk, confirmed ball hawk outfit. I know him when I see him. I've had him in Chicago, and that's definitely what they look like. And I also know what its defense looks like when they're being coached wrong, but they have the right personnel. And a lot of that was evident in the Cowboys defense last year. Now, in saying that, it's the craziest turnaround on one side of the ball I've ever seen. They literally went from being the worst defense in the league to being the best defense in the league. I don't think I've ever seen that because everybody's the same people. It's all the same personnel except for the coaching. So that just goes to show, what was your defensive coordinator's name?
Dave Quinn.
Yeah, he was not good. No, the last year's guy.
Oh, last year. Mike Nolan.
Mike Nolan, not good at his job.
I told you, one of the worst defensive
at his job. And they're a fun team to watch. And it's like hard for me to like the Cowboys because they're a very hateable franchise because of like all the inherent, sort of weird classism and racism of Jerry Jones. But they're fun to watch on the defensive side of the ball for sure. And it's a kind of like who do I hate more situation, because I love to see the Patriots lose, only because I like to taste the pain of my fellow podcasters through the app, and it makes me laugh.
Tastes
because
good.
I know they were all going like, oh, Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. And I'm like, yeah, but the fucking Cowboys own you guys? Like, that's depressing. Also, we've been doing this podcast. We're like about to enter our junior year of this podcast pretty soon. And they've been shitting on you for being a Cowboys fan this entire time. And like the fucking chickens are really coming home to roost here, because I'm always very careful about that because I'm worried about sports karma. And it was definitely a fun game to watch. The Patriots are the most boring team in the NFL right now, by far. It's so painful to watch them play football. It's like watching Bill Belichick read the newspaper. That's what that offense looks like. And it's like, I think
he's losing it, man. I don't know. I think
it's the coordinators. I think that he sticks with these guys that have no business being. Yeah, it does. It's his fault.
But they're his sons. It's not
weird.
even like it's the guys that he hired in our group. They're his blood. He brought them up, and it's like he's not bringing in Charlie Weiss anymore, Romeo Cornell. Yeah. He's not bringing in Flores. He's not bringing in. He doesn't have these dudes anymore. Right. And I just think it's so evident, man. Because you're right. Yeah. It doesn't look the same. It really doesn't. For the Pats to make the mistakes they made at the end of that game, it's the most unpatriot-like thing ever, man. From the interception on the pick six. Yes, they come back and score a touchdown the next play. But then the 4th and 3 in overtime, to not go for that, man, like,
it's weird too, because I forget who said it, but like the 4th and short situations across the whole NFL this year have been so bizarre. Like nobody knows what to do. And it's like, dude, and I think it might've been you that said people are overthinking it. And I think that's exactly right, because it's like, dude, you got to just get the first down. Like do you remember a few years ago when I think it might've been Simmons made the point where he was like, hey, how come no NFL head coach knows when to call timeouts? Like just get a kid who plays a lot of Madden in, and he'll be able to do your clock management for you. It's sort of the same thing. It's like, dude, on 4th and 3 in overtime, like you can't give the ball back to them. Like you got to go for it, because honestly, you've already had the ball. So all they have to do is get in field goal range. So you might as well fucking go for it. You know what I mean?
And especially against the offense that you haven't come close to stopping for a quarter and a half.
They're so dynamic.
As soon as the Cowboys got that ball back, man, I knew. Like, I was dude, this game was over.
Well, you're banking on a turnover.
There's no way. Right.
You're banking on a turnover. That's not smart. That's not good head coaching. And, sorry that we're beating up on your Pats here, Craig, but the problem is, and I think it's something the sooner you accept it, the better. And it's not, I didn't think it was going to become true, but the sooner you accept it, the better. Like the magic in the Patriots offense, its name was Tom Brady, and the magic in the Patriots team.
I see his tweets. He's accepted it.
Come on. I mean, it's true. It's true. And like Bill Belichick is a good NFL head coach, and he's an all-timer for his resume and the things that he's accomplished. But the magic was in the sauce, and the sauce was a Michigan graduate. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. It's not there anymore. You can see it. You know why? You know how you know? Because you just turn on a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game and you can still see it. It's still fucking there. It's just in a different city in a different uniform. It's still there. It looks like that. You know what happens in Tampa Bay? Every motherfucker on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is on their best goddamn behavior. They're on their best fucking behavior. Everybody's doing their goddamn job. The do your job shit, that left. That took a bus down the floor. It's been over.
Anyways, Craig, go ahead.
It's been over for 18 months. Let's be honest.
You were going to say something.
No, I'm just going to say it, since I have to be the token Patriots defender, since neither Mike or Joey here. Not going to happen. I haven't been able to enjoy a Patriots game in nearly 3 years. Even the last season Brady was here, I did not enjoy a single game. That was the boogeyman season, and the only joys I got out of that game were blowout defensive matchups where the Patriots defense turns out beat very bad teams. Their offense is terrible. The last two Patriots games that I enjoyed, the Patriots-Seattle game last year of Cam Newton, that was a good game. Yeah, we lost, but that was a good, enjoyable game. And then the Super Bowl, 3 years ago at this point, with the Patriots won the last one, that's the last game I enjoyed. There's been nothing to enjoy, because the last year of Brady was that, the breakup season we all know now, and we all knew it was coming. And then it was basically like the last stage where your dad's living in the basement, and eventually he's leaving, but he's still living in the house. And after that, and then after that, dad's gone. Got to find a new dad.
Yeah, man. It's been So
if it's any consolation, you can probably call Dak Prescott daddy at this point.
Oh yeah. After Sunday, yeah, we'll call him daddy.
451 yards, man.
I'd say this about the Cowboys though, Bobby. Like, how every year there's a team that like, I call it Atlanta Falcons syndrome, where like they'll win 15 regular season games and then something will happen in the playoffs.
I don't think that's them, man.
I don't know.
No, most years I would agree. I would. I don't know.
It's funny that we had a running joke about Stephon Diggs' brother, and now everybody knows his name,
Bro.
Because if longtime listeners will remember, going into last season when we did our NFL preview show,
it was one of my hype ups for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I started making fun of Bobby because he was like, "I don't think that defense is that bad." We got Stephon Diggs' brother, and I was like, "Yeah, Tom Brady's cousin. Who gives a shit if he's his brother?" But now, again, he had a terrible season after that and like completely disappeared off the face of the earth. But now he's here. Stephon Diggs' brother. He's having a better season than his brother. Stephon Diggs is on my fantasy team. He hasn't been doing that great.
Bro, someone came up to, or there's a meme going around. I don't think someone actually came up to, but there's a meme going around.
That's how you come up to people now on the internet.
Of people being like, yo, bro, you're Trevon Diggs' brother, right? Well, can you get him to sign this for me? And I saw that and was like, everything has come full circle. I can die in peace.
That's so funny. But the upside to recording a podcast is you get classic lines like that, and then it establishes itself as a narrative.
It's just great. And a year and a half later.
And he's like legit. He's he's in the ESPN top 10.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. Bro. That pick six happened. I literally was running around that place being like, Trevon Diggs is the best cornerback that has ever lived on this face of the earth. Like,
he's great. He's awesome. I'll say something else. Like a zone corner like that, really rare to find. Like a guy that can make those kind of plays in the zone. Because oftentimes I think when you find an elite top 5 quarterback, it's like a man-to-man quarterback who can like stick to guys. I think that he plays a great zone defense. I think that the Cowboys are all really fast on the defensive side of the ball, which I think when you play the zone, you need to be, because they get to their spots really well. And the other nice thing, and that's how you play it. That's how you become a ball hawk defense, is you play the zone really well because you have to hide. You have to hide in these pockets the quarterback can't see, and then you have to go get the ball. Or you have to be the best tackling team in the NFL and punch a lot of balls out. The 2006 Bears did both. And I think it looks like this Cowboys team is, when you see a defense that it's like their job is to go get you the ball, not stop the other team from scoring. That is the most fun defense you'll ever fucking watch in your entire life. It's unbelievable. Yeah, and like I watched a couple of years of Bears defenses that did that, and there's nothing more fun than that in the NFL. There's nothing. It doesn't matter what your offense does. All they have to do is be okay, and your offense is good. So it's like it's amazing. Yeah,
it's great.
Dak's got to stay healthy though.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. We don't need, we
Bobby immediately starts burning incense.
We can't put that into the universe. I don't even want to think about that, dude. So that's the thing, is like, even when the Cowboys give up touchdowns at this point, it's more of like okay, we'll get him next time. You know what I mean? Because
the other team's going to score.
Right, and it's like,
it's not cricket. Is that how cricket works? I don't know how cricket works.
I don't know. Do they pop up on my Facebook videos all the fucking time? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I tried to learn it one time, and I was like, it's like baseball, but combined with chess.
And it's longer. Right, it's longer and more boring. That sounds horrible.
Sorry, all the people who tuned in for our great cricket takes.
But
not tonight.
What's amazing is, like you said, is like, when you need them to go get you the ball, they do. And that's been what they do all year. It's like, there's been a couple times where one of my best friends, he's a Cowboys fan. So like we text during the games and shit. And like, it'll be a moment where I'm like, we need a turnover right here.
Yeah.
And they get it. And it's like, that's something that the Cowboys have never done. So I know you said the Cowboys seem like that team that, seems like they go far.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You know the phenomenon I'm talking about.
I do, but I just want to go through. So
like the Steelers last year.
It's a good, don't do that.
They won a shitload of games, and then it turned out they were terrible. That's like the case.
But the Cowboys are not terrible. The Cowboys look nothing like the Steelers did last year.
I know, but like if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, then they look a lot like the Steelers last year.
Don't even. But so I want to go through the top 10 teams here. So it's a good transition because
power rankings. I didn't even look at your power rankings because I've been mad enough this week.
So think about what you just said. Like, Cowboys don't think, they could be that team that goes one and done, right? the top 10 teams, think about who actually you think could beat the Cowboys in like
in the NFC or
one-on-one matchup. So there's a few NFC teams here. There's mostly NFC teams. So I think the NFC is better. Actually, is it 5-5? It is 5-5. So never, I lied. So anyways, number 10, after this past week, the Titans, right? Titans went in and they absolutely played a fantastic game against the Bills. I still think the Bills blew the ends of that game. I'll still never understand.
They rely on a running back. There's nothing you can. It's not going to work.
He's the running back. He's unbelievable.
So was Chris Johnson. So was Adrian Peterson.
Derrick Henry. They don't compare Derrick Henry to Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson had one of the greatest single seasons of a running back of all time. Get the fuck out.
Derrick Henry is about to run for 2,000 yards in 2 straight seasons.
Okay, but that Chris Johnson season was equivalent to that. I know he crapped out right after he got paid, but it doesn't matter. You got to look back at that. It's comparable. It's fucking comparable. A.
It's not comparable.
B. Adrian Peterson.
It's comparable because they're on the same team. That's the only reason it's comparable.
It's comparable because they both ran for a shitload of yards and touchdowns. They're both running backs. It's like when people are like, apples and oranges. You can't compare them. Well, they're both fruit. You can fucking eat both of them. They both have skin. It's the stupidest fucking expression. It's not just comparable because they're on the same team. That Chris Johnson season, because I know it was a flash in the pan, it was a one and done thing, and he didn't give a shit after he got paid. But please do put some respect on that fucking season. That season was fucking crazy.
I'm not taking away from that season. I'm just saying Derrick Henry
taught us just like Adrian Peterson,
player in Madden.
Sure. But just like Adrian Peterson, just like Chris Johnson, just like who the fuck else has had seasons like this? All right, let's just say those 3 guys. Fuck it. Just because I think there's a drop off after that. I can't think. Marshall Faulk needed Kurt Warner. Okay, you can't win with a fucking running back. I'm sorry. Mike's right about this.
Ain't taking him to the ship. I get it.
He's not, dude.
I get it.
He's not.
But there's no one else that you can put ahead of it. You want me to put the Raiders in here?
No, I like the Raiders a lot better. All of a sudden,
they're not going in yet. All right.
No, I get it. Listen, I get it. I totally get it. I think the Bears are going to have a pretty decent season though overall. I mean, let's see how they do against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, because we had their number last year, so let's see. But no, it doesn't matter. The Titans. I like the Titans. The Titans are my AFC team. You know why? Eddie George. Eddie George was my favorite player when I was a kid. The Aaron McNair, Eddie George, Kevin Dyson, like the combo. Frank Wycheck, like those. That offense was like I as a little kid, you know, when you watch a team that's not your team and you secretly fantasize about it being your team because it's so much fun to watch. And they were in those baby blue uniforms.
Yeah, with the logo and the white, the clean white helmets.
Unbelievable. Brother, and they were new, nice. Right? Because they used to be the Oilers right before that, and they were and they were here. They were in Tennessee. The fans were pumped. I love the Tennessee Titans. I want to see the Tennessee Titans do well. Currently constituted, they're not going to do shit. And if we're talking about in comparison to the Cowboys blow them out of the water.
Right. Okay. So that's number 10. Number 9. This is more of an upcoming. They just kind of seem hot.
I have one in mind, but I think it's going to take a while to get to it. But go ahead.
Okay. So number 9, the Bengals. And it's just out of upside. I don't think they actually have a chance. I agree. I don't think they actually have a chance. It's just from what I've seen in the season so far.
I like Burrow.
Yeah, I like Burrow.
He's winning me over. His attitude is cool.
He's such a badass.
Yeah.
He bruises stardom? No.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Bruises stardom and fucking finishes the game. Like,
yeah, he's like,
get out of here.
I think people thought they were getting Joe Burrow when they got Baker Mayfield.
He needs to start fucking sliding though. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He does need to start sliding. He needs to start.
But I mean, you kind of, as a fan and not a fan of the Cincinnati Bengals, you respect it a little. And also, everybody said that to AP when he first started. You remember when it was like, dude, you got to run out of bounds. And he was always going for the next 3 yards. And it was like, your career is going to be so short, bro. And then AP went for 1 billion years.
He's still, isn't he still? No, he's out now, right? Is he out of the league now?
I mean, he's irrelevant, so it's whatever. But yeah.
Anyways.
It was a good run.
Jamar Chase is a monster, though. We got to give him that, too.
Oh, yeah. We can't move on with Jamar Chase. Yeah, you're right. Jamar Chase is such a beast, man.
Honestly, it's a weirdly likable Bengals team for probably one of the more unlikable franchises in the NFL because they have ugly fucking dumbass uniforms.
I love them.
They are very similar to a prison jumpsuit for a reason.
Yeah, it's like, how do we model ourselves after a classic Kellogg's cereal? they look like cartoon characters when they play. It looks fucking ridiculous.
They're great.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like. They've also I'm also in our lifetime, and again, I always try and reference what these franchises have meant to us as opposed to historically. And in our lifetime, I watched them waste a lot of really talented receivers, which was like upsetting, like just how many great receivers in the 90s and 2000s just wasted
TJ Hushman-Illy.
Hushmanzada, fucking, they've had tons of guys. They were just like Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, just wasted away in Cincinnati, just doing nothing. And because it was always like the promise of something on the horizon, because you think like if you're bad enough for enough years, you get a decent quarterback, but like they're like the Browns in that way, they couldn't get one. But I do like Burrow.
Well, they did get one. They just wasted him. They tore his ACL in the 1 year that they had a chance.
That was a bad injury, though. Tough to come back from that.
Fucking Steelers. Anyways, so
I love the Steelers.
I fucking hate them. Anyways, yeah, sorry, Lee. She's one of our dedicated listeners. Just kidding.
Yeah,
like
go Steelers. Go Steelers.
Anyway, number 8, Chargers. I was really surprised at how much of an egg they laid against the Ravens.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Ravens are that good, if the Chargers just laid an egg, but man, Justin Herbert is the truth. That's, you know what I mean? That's why they have a chance. I do actually think they have a chance. We're going to compare them against the Cowboys. Like you said, do you think that?
I think they have a good defense, like a good young defense. I think they're fun to watch. I think I forget about them weirdly. Like when they're playing, they're just not as relevant in my head as maybe they should be. They're a good sleeper pick, I think. We're getting into the range of teams that could potentially beat your Cowboys team, but I think we're still in a no situation for me. Craig, what do you think? You think the Chargers could beat the Cowboys?
I think Justin Hobart, whatever his name is having a very good sophomore season. Obviously, he was thrown into it after the quarterback for the Chargers got bad last year.
Tavares?
Yeah.
No,
whoever.
Tavares Jackson.
He was started for Houston, then he got hurt again, so whatever. But, they still have Keenan Allen.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. That's right. Chargers still a good team. I don't think they're ready for prime time yet, but they're a very good up-and-coming team. I feel very, very good about where you put them.
Yeah, I think maybe next year.
Yeah.
I'd keep my eye on them, but there's something about him right now, just not quite there.
It's probably Nick Bosa for you.
Yeah, it's part of it. I mean, I really like their defense, though. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, 30, but for them to lay that egg against the Ravens, I mean,
the Ravens. Well, let's wait till we get to the Ravens,
right? Because it did move them up a spot. I mean, I can't believe I did that to my boys, but we'll get there. So seven Packers. I honestly don't feel great about the Packers. However, if there's one man that I don't want to see facing the fucking Cowboys in the playoffs, it is goddamn Aaron Rodgers. Because listen, as much as he owns the Bears, he owns the fucking Cowboys too, man. And
he's not that guy anymore, dude. Like honestly,
man,
like
it doesn't. Like he will be with 20. I can already picture. I'm already stressed because you remember what happened, 4 years ago, or the year Dak went 13-3 his rookie year, 14-26. Aaron Rodgers put an absolute dime, and I just replay that in my head. So
I personally think, and I know that during the Bears Packers section of this podcast, like I had to admit, because otherwise you're just the dummy, that Rodgers still owns the Bears because of like what happened. But I felt that the Bears shot themselves in the foot multiple times in that game, and it didn't seem like a quintessential Aaron Rodgers just coming to fucking tap that ass performance. That one play, sure. But the most dangerous thing to me about Aaron Rodgers was always that he was like a triple threat, like he was super smart at play calling on the line, which he still is. He has a very good game intelligence for like where and when he throws the ball. But also, you had to burn a linebacker on him every single play on that, or he would probably still be able to scramble, 10, 15 yards on you if he wanted, if the play broke down. And he was so good at like recognizing when to do that. And he can't run like that anymore. I know everyone at home's going, he scrambled for that fucking touchdown where he told you he owned you. I'm like, I know, but like, where fucking was everybody? You know what I mean? Like, that was my question. Like, he didn't do it that quickly. And he looked fucking reluctant when he first started running. He's not at an age where he wants to get hit or slide or do any of that shit. I think, and I'm just going to make a bold prediction now. I think, do you guys play regular season this year? Yeah, you do, right?
Not this year.
No, our division. No, that's right. Our division plays. Yeah, okay. So if you see him in the playoffs, I think you guys will pick him off 3 times.
I like that prediction.
To be perfectly honest with you, because I saw something. I don't know what it was. The Bears couldn't capitalize on it, but I saw something in that game.
It's like that last Peyton year, or like that last,
not quite,
or
that
like Breeze last year, where like Breeze last year, where like is not all there.
No,
but like
the closest comparison I can actually think of right off the top of my head is actually Brett Favre on the Vikings.
Okay.
Where he's like still good, But once you get to the playoffs, you're going to see that he's not as good as he used to be.
He's going to start forcing passes. He's going to do
Well,
things.
Brett Favre always did that.
It's
It's not so much a style thing. Brett Favre always did that. That was just how he played. So when his arm went 1%, he started getting picked off more. Like that's just going to happen. I think with Rodgers, you're going to see. I mean, this is probably fucking wishful thinking on my part, to be honest with you, just as a disclaimer. But with Rodgers, I think you're going to see that he just looked like, I remember what it felt like to go against Aaron Rodgers. I've done it a lot of times. And for some reason on Sunday, again, even though we lost, I was like, no, I'm not that scared. I'm just not as scared as I used to be. I think we can do this. I really think I was really fucking confident for the whole game. And I know that, ended up being misplaced.
You were very confident. You had me.
Started really well.
You spelled out the name for me.
I was like, here's how Chicago Bears is spelled.
Here's how you spell it, dude.
I probably fucking jinxed him, to be honest with you. But I was blowing off steam and I was real excited. I was drinking beers. I don't know. I was fucking talking to myself, though. Nobody was even talking to me in the group chat.
Listen, taken from the prime talking to yourself in the group chat, dude. I'll sit there for like an hour and just send messages. Nobody even fucking talking to me.
I know the feeling. Everyone's like, dude, we don't care about the Bears game. I'm like, all right. Fair enough. I'm like, you guys watching it? We're beating the Raiders right now. Rayshawn's like, I'm watching the Red Sox. I'm like, fuck the Red Sox.
Fuck you and your Bears.
I'm like, maybe one time they'll talk to me if there's nothing else on. Monday night. They need a Monday night game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I still think Cowboys, just to keep moving us along, I still think Cowboys over Packers. I'm thinking about that game now. I got sad. Oh, you guys are supposed to be my friend.
So next they have, I dropped them because of that loss against the Titans because the 6 Bills. You don't me overreacting to the Bills.
You dropped them low.
I did.
Okay.
I did. But listen, I think it's bullshit that a team, I will never, ever understand. I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here. It is 4th and 1. Less than a minute left. And you have a chance to kick a game-tying field goal and you go for it and you lose, bro, that is on you. That is your fault. You had a chance to extend that goddamn game and go into overtime and win it. And you get stopped on 4th down and that's it. Game over. And I will never understand that.
Isn't that the opposite of what you were saying about the Patriots game, though?
No, because, listen, Patriots were on, like, it was like the 50-yard line or something like that. Bro, this is a chip shot field goal to extend the game.
Where were they?
Like the fucking 8-yard line.
So
and
you're saying they got greedy.
2.
You're saying they got greedy.
Yes, they get, and it's happened a few times where it's like people want. So listen, if the situation calls for it, absolutely go for it. 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and when you're not stopping the other offense and they can go down and drive the field against you, yeah, you should absolutely go for it and not let them on the field. But 20 seconds left. That other offense isn't coming onto the goddamn field. You know what I mean? They're coming on to kneel the ball to go to overtime.
Yeah.
You have a chance to extend the game, and you don't. And you have one play to try and to win the game. I get it. You want to end it right there. I understand. You think you're the balls. You have Josh Allen. I understand. Fucking kick the field goal, man. If the so the related to the Cowboys, because that's where it's the dog going. When Mike McCarthy had that opportunity to extend the game and Zarwine hit the kick and we went into overtime, guess what happened? We won the fucking game. And everyone in my booth, everyone was like, oh, he's going to go for it. If Mike McCarthy went for it on 4th and 1 and we didn't get it, we ended up losing that game, I would have been calling for his head, man. I just don't understand it. I think it's boneheaded. And I think it goes back to what I said. I just think everyone overthinks these 4th and 1s. And I hate it. And that's why I dropped them so low, because I hated that decision.
I agree with you.
The Bills were going to win. The Titans could not stop the Bills. The Bills were going to win that game if it went into overtime. There's no doubt in my mind. And
I think in the context of this game, I agree with you. But I think in the spirit overall of what you're saying, I don't. I think you don't kick the field goal to tie with like less than 3 yards. So you should be able to get 3 fucking yards. If you can't get 3 yards or 2 yards or 1 yard, even worse, you don't deserve to win the fucking game.
But if
when the
it's
game's
20
on the
seconds,
line,
though, if it's like 20, 30 seconds, so what you're going to go for it, right?
You have this
This
dynamic
1 or 2
quarterback.
shots, but to get 1 or 2 shots at the end zone, and then you're still going to have to fucking kick the field goal anyways.
No, again, I think in the context of this game, I think I agree with you. But I do think that like there's certain situations where you got to play to win the game.
So you think over a minute, because that gives you,
yeah.
That gives
Well,
you a full
I always
set of
get,
downs,
I always
right?
get
It
nervous.
gives you a full set of downs with a minute.
I always get nervous when I'm fucking around with less than a minute to go. I always get nervous because you've seen so many situations. Because like that's why I agree with you. I think because about this game in particular, because you've seen so many situations where like teams like aren't good at getting back to the line of scrimmage and spiking the ball anymore. Have you noticed that? Like they just like can't do it. I don't really understand. Like I feel like there used to be teams like maybe they used to drill it more. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's like a clock management thing. I don't fucking know. But like there's a lot of like dicking around when you need to stop the clock. And when it's your team, you feel it more when you're going like, Jesus fucking Christ, stop the goddamn clock. Like spike the ball. Like we need to get back and like game plan this. So yeah, I think with 20 seconds left, that's tough. I think you gotta just live to fight another day in that situation. Overall, I fucking hate tying it with a kick and going into OT. I fucking hate it. I'm like, win the fucking game. Like you pussies, win the fucking game. But I do agree with you in the context of this game. Moving on.
So 5. So
It's a tough drop for one loss considering the season they're having, but okay.
Well, it's because of the impressiveness of the other wins. So 5 out of the Cowboys. I actually dropped them a spot from last week. I had them at 4 last week, but that's because of the impressive win of the team above them. Cowboys eked out a game.
I felt in my bones you were going to put them higher. And I was like, Bobby, they played.
Listen, I dropped them. Listen, the exact.
Oh, just for the record, by the way, we did pass a team in the Bills, and I know they're coming off an embarrassing loss, but they're a team that I think would beat the Cowboys with something on the line.
They could. Yeah, because Josh Allen isn't going to, well, he might. 2 years ago, he would have. Not
like we were talking about earlier, you guys played this kind of defense that Josh Allen doesn't stick in the pocket enough where you can start to hide in his blind spots. And I think that he might be really, really well matched against you guys if you saw them you'd have to see him in the Super Bowl. So, if you saw him in the Super Bowl, I would worry about the matchup more than anything. It's not necessarily a personnel thing. I mean, they do have great players. It would be really fucking cool to see Diggs go against Diggs, though. That'd be fucking awesome to see that battle. I would love to see like that. I'm wishing for that now. So like that'd be awesome. But Cowboys. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just so fucking dynamic, dude. And I think that might have been one boneheaded decision, but that's a decision born from the confidence of the fact that you can get yards. So they're good.
Cowboys Bills can't happen as a Super Bowl because the football gods will not let the fucking Cowboys beat the Bills again in the Super Bowl. It's just not.
That would be so
It's not
wild.
in the cards. It's just not.
That would be such a fun Super Bowl, though.
It would be. It would be a good one.
I would really be into that.
Because it'd be what is it? 3 in a row? Is that what it was? 3 in a row in the 90s?
Yeah. No, the Bills lost 3. That's very
2. One was to the Oilers, 2 were to the Cowboys.
Well, they lost 3 Super Bowls in a row, and it's the saddest football stat in history.
It's so sad.
I mean, at least they made it. Like half the fucking franchises haven't even been to the goddamn show. So like, fuck them.
Bro, I don't know. I've never experienced a Super Bowl for my team. Like since I've actually been into football. Like
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Going to 3 in a row and not getting any of them.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Experiencing a Super Bowl loss never leaves you.
Yeah.
It never leaves you. I bet it doesn't even leave Patriots fans who saw a fucking billion other championship, fucking 6 rings otherwise. I bet it doesn't. I bet the losses don't. I bet they still eat away at them, dude.
I remember the 2 Giants losses more than I do at some of the wins.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think about the blown coverage of Peyton Manning hitting Rodney Harrison to seal the deal in 06 after Hester returned the fucking opening kickoff for a touchdown.
I remember that.
And we hit them with a pick 6. And it was blown coverage in the flats. And it was the worst guy to leave open behind your safety. And Manning hit him so easily. And I watched all the Bears' heads drop. And I think about that like once a week. So count yourself lucky that you've actually never seen a loss. Getting there and losing is worse than never getting there. I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure.
That's why I know the football gods will not let the Cowboys beat the Bills in the Super Bowl for a third time. They just won't let it happen. But anyways, so number 5, Cowboys. Listen, I've already preached enough on this team in this podcast.
Well, we're doing them as a point of comparison, so we can just go to 4, I think.
All right, so 4, I have the Ravens. That win against the Chargers was very, very
Ravens
impressive.
are fucking legit.
Yeah, and that's the type. Listen, I know we said running doesn't do it in December and January. This kind of running might.
I told you guys Lamar Jackson was the fucking man. I told you guys he's legitimately good. Everybody was everybody was supposed to figure him out this season. What's happening?
That's bullshit. What Fields is what Nagy's doing with Fields, by the way, because the fact that you guys aren't running the fucking pistol formation 95% of the time is such horse shit.
They don't know how.
Bro, when I saw Fields lining up 5 wide, I almost threw my fucking clicker at the TV.
I will say this.
What the fuck are you
doing? I agree. The tough part is we're not constituted offensively to run the pistol that often because our receivers aren't those guys. Like Allen Robinson is like a Robinson is like a go up and get the ball.
But it's easier to teach the pistol to the wide receivers than it is.
We have that guy. We have this guy Mooney who is having a great season, who Fields really likes, and it's for that reason because he's like dynamic across 5 yards. If that makes sense, like he can get away from his guy in the 5-yard range. Not to go on against the Bears, it's very upsetting. But yes, I agree. Just run the fucking pistol more. Run options more and run sneakier options. Like they run these both like you know what they're gonna do every fucking time. And I do at least because I watch them every week. You know who else watches them every week? Anybody watching fucking game tape on them. So it's very frustrating. Anyway, sorry.
I set you up for that tangent, Mike.
Yeah, but the Ravens are super fucking.
They're really good. So the top 3 teams are all NFC teams. So these are a direct point of comparison here. Okay, so Rams number 3. The Rams trashed the Giants, but again, Cowboys trashed the Giants. I think personally, I think the Cowboys can beat the Rams because I think Stafford turns the ball over a few times against the Cowboys, and I think we torched their defense.
I agree. I think they're built to get beat by you guys.
So, all right. So we're going to move on past that. I like the Rams, though. In general, in the NFL, I like the Rams a lot.
They have a cool logo.
Yeah. But it's not what I was going for. But yeah.
I just don't like the quarterback.
Not a Stafford guy?
He's in my division for like a billion years. I hate him.
Fair enough.
But
I haven't had a good quarterback that's here in my division for a long time other than Brady.
Fair.
So that's a good comparison, though. So, like, you hate him. Does that mean that he was good? Did you not like playing him? Is that something that...
No. He just suited up in a Lions uniform every week. So I hated him. Right. And I think that, I think it was the most obvious thing in the world that when he went to a team that wasn't the Detroit Lions, he was, I don't think anyone didn't have that take last year. It's like it was pretty fucking obvious. But I think whilst he's better than he was in Detroit, I still don't think he's at that level of elite QB that everyone is all of a sudden saying that he is.
He shuts himself in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. I mean, here's what I learned about Stafford watching him play over the course of however long he was in Detroit, like 10 years. He's a momentum guy. He's a streak guy. So if he completes his first 3 passes, you're in trouble. Any team, and this is why I say they're built to lose to the Cowboys. Any team that plays disruptive defense, disruptive rhythm defense, football, turnovers, sacks, forced fumbles, even if you don't get the ball back, that fucks with Matt Stafford. I've watched that fuck with Matt Stafford. That's why we fucking owned them for so many years because all we ever had to do was just disrupt him a little bit. I don't know if that's mental. I don't know if it's just part of his game, but it's still true in LA. And the teams that play the Rams often are going to start to figure that out, in my opinion.
Agreed. You hit Stafford, you get in his head. Yeah. That's his thing because he's always been glass ever since he was in Georgia. Yeah. He's always been made of glass, man. You hit him enough. He's
perfect for the Rams. Like they have like this kind of fancy boy persona in LA, you know, and I think he's perfect for them and I think he'll do well, but I don't see it.
Rams with the white is so awesome. I love that white.
Looks great. It's great. Yeah. And by the way, I love the St. Louis Rams. The greatest show on turf was like one of my favorite offenses. The beginning of hating the Patriots was watching them lose to them. So yeah, I mean, I like the Rams. It's just I'm also in LA and I'm like a Bears fan, and like I'm in LA and I'm like a Celtics fan. So it's like an LA team. Oh, fuck you.
Imagine. See why I hate the Patriots so much?
Yeah, right. Oh no, I lived in Massachusetts for a long time. I get it.
So number 2, give them up to the champ, to the GOAT, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Number 2, did they play this last week? They had a bye week, right?
Who?
I think they played.
The Bucs. Who did the Bucs play? I don't even remember.
The Bucs did have a bye week.
They had a bye week, right? Yeah.
They had a bye week. I'm surprised we had games this week. My whole fantasy team was fucking sitting on the bench.
That's this week. No, that's this week. This week's crazy with bye weeks. That's why we're not talking about
this
week.
No,
this week football sucks.
They played last week when it was Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's right. They played the
Eagles.
Yeah, they smashed the Eagles right away, and then everybody stopped caring about both of their weeks. That was such a boring game. You just knew it was a foregone conclusion.
The Eagles still got the cover, though. They got that backdoor.
They did cover the spread, dude. I heard a lot of people lost money on that. I heard because they covered for like no reason. Right? I didn't watch the end of the game. But, they should have even scored, right? Yeah. So like half of Vegas was just like,
and then the Bucs drove the ball down to the 7.
Yeah, no, it's all coming back to me there. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Yeah. Dude, it hurt for gamblers.
So, all right. So we'll go point of comparison again. This is a very Cowboys heavy podcast. So listen, Cowboys beat the Patriots. It happens. Sorry, Patriots fan. I hope you made it this far.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. I know. Many Patriots fans got like 5 minutes into this fucking podcast. They're like, fuck these guys. The shit. Yeah.
Record low listenership this week.
But listen, we already played them. It was a great game. Dak literally went out to Tom Brink at midfield and went, "We'll see you again." If it happens, what do you think? It's a great game again, right? That's a battle, in my opinion. I don't know.
I mean, it's weird. It's a weird thing. Like, maybe I should be more intimidated by the Bucs than I am, but like the Bears, like not that good, and we smashed them last year. And like maybe it was a fluke of a game, but we play them this week, so we'll see.
You forgot how many downs there were. I think that's a fluke.
The crowd was great that night, and that was a big part of it. But I think. I don't know. I'm just less intimidated by them than maybe I should be. And I also think it's a weird season for like those top tier teams where the Bucs don't look quite as good as they did last year. And the Chiefs really don't look as good as they did last year because like the Super Bowl hangover is real. But the Super Bowl hangover has historically been true of the winning team sometimes too. I don't know. They don't have that spark for me this year. And I think the Cowboys kind of have that spark. So if I was betting on it, if I was betting lines, if you give me some odds, I'd take the Cowboys at like plus 150. I'd take it. I'd bet that.
Entice you a little bit. That money line would be like, ooh.
Where is it? Where is it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean,
I'm not that afraid of Tampa Bay's home field advantage because like most of the people there are more concerned with fucking their sister than they are watching a fucking football game. But if it's in Dallas, I would take it I'd take it at plus. I would take it at plus 150 probably.
Fucking Tampa Bay. How you feel about that one?
Yeah, fuck you. Sorry we lost that region. Do they even have internet? Who knows?
So, yeah, no, I agree. I would take the Cowboys in that game too, especially because we already played them once. And I think, listen, you know what I think. I think the Cowboys would come in there and at this point,
we're talking matchups. You know what I mean? Like we're talking the nuance of matchups on either side of the ball. And I think that the Cowboys as currently constituted can beat anyone in the NFL, like the way that they're currently playing. I really do think that that's true, but it's about matchups. And I think you guys match up well against pocket quarterbacks. You match up well against teams with weapons. You know, like I've seen you guys play against these teams that have weapons, and you have enough man-on-man personnel, and you play in enough of a good ball hog zone that you could probably keep quiet a lot of those Tampa Bay weapons. And then on the other side of the ball, like I'm not seeing that Tampa Bay defense stop you. So in a matchup situation, I feel like I would lean Dallas strangely, you know, and it'd be a good game. You know, I do think that if it came down again, and I think this is what went wrong last time, if it came down again to a shootout between Brady and Dak, Brady's going to win that every time. So don't do that. Manage the game better. That's all you got to do. You know, just don't get into it. And it was cool watching Dak do what he did. It was cool. And it was a great performance, but don't do that against Tom Brady. Don't be dumb. You know, just manage the game. Just like keep him off the field. As we know, historically, that's what you're supposed to do. If you want a chance of beating Tom Brady, don't let him get the ball in his hands. Right.
And rush him.
Yeah. I mean, that's easier said than done. Like the Bears got to him last year. I've seen the Cowboys get to him a little bit, and I've seen it, but you got to keep the ball out of his hands. That's the rule with Tom Brady. So if you can do that and you don't, it was impressive. You know, it really was that you guys went for it like that in a shootout against him, but you were inevitably going to lose because you can't do that against Tom Brady, even though he's a million years old and like probably feasting on the blood of children to stay young or whatever the fuck he's doing.
It's unbelievable. He absolutely sold his soul in the devil.
There's
no doubt in my mind.
Something's
he did
not
something.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way Kale is doing this. He didn't even think of a good excuse.
I eat kale. I'm Brady. So
yeah, okay, you eat kale, but you've also I've seen you take like 3 fucking shots since we started this podcast.
2.5.
I'm gonna mention that later. How many nips have you taken during the show?
I'm thinking Tom Brady has like an overall healthier diet than you and I, but there's no way that juicing your fucking greens is doing this. Something's up. Something's up.
Resistance bands, dude.
Yeah, resistance bands.
Yeah.
He's probably importing fucking small Indonesian children and turning them into slurry and drinking their fucking blood through a strange and like arcane system invented by fucking wizards. It's insane. It's fucking crazy. I just want his body to fail. And he fucking rubs it in now too. Ever since he's not a Patriot, like the other day I saw him, he's like, I could probably play until I'm 50, but I want to spend more time with the family. I'm like, oh, okay, really? Can you, Tom Brady? Whatever.
He can too.
He probably fucking could. God damn it.
He's unbelievable, man.
Nah, it'd be a good game though.
So I just want to point out though that I'm not going to rub it in further. We've already dug in enough against Patriots. Anyway, so we're not going to do that again.
I wanted him to score a touchdown against the Patriots and be like, I still own you. That we can become a running catchphrase, so it's not just Aaron Rodgers. I'd really appreciate it.
So number one, Cardinals, only undefeated team.
They're so
this
good.
happened last year. I don't believe in them. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
Come on.
So I'm going to make this comparison to you because I know you'll understand.
They haven't lost the game. How are you going to justify this?
Listen, the Cardinals are like a night of cocaine. Okay.
We're doing this again.
Okay. I'm in.
No. There are points in the game where you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing I have ever seen in my entire life. They are amazing. But then there are also points in the game where you're like, what the fuck is happening? I can't believe what I'm watching. Like, Kingsbury will do the dumbest shit. There's so many things that'll happen where you're like, oh my God, I hate this fucking team.
That's just all part of that dynamism that they bring to the field, man. Like, they're so fucking dynamic. Like, what they're doing, like a lot of what the Chiefs used to do. Like, they're
very Chiefs-esque.
You're playing the Cardinals game every time. It doesn't matter who you are. You're playing their game. And when a team can impose, and when a team can impose their will, whether or not that some weird shit goes down from time to time, even though I don't think it happens as much as you're indicating, I think if they can impose their will and they can impose their will on everybody, then it is what it is, you know? And by the way, Kyler Murray was supposed to get figured out by now too. What the fuck happened? I didn't even believe in him. I thought he was too fucking small. You know why? Because he is too fucking small. He fucking is. It doesn't make any sense. It did yes, I agree with you in that sense. That the Cardinals being good doesn't make quantifiable sense in a lot of ways. But the proof is in the pudding, my friend. The proof is in the fucking pudding. And also, we still, and I like to still mention this, have the worst business acumen in football of the Houston Texans to thank for the Cardinals being as good as they are right now. Because, you know, I mean, Hopkins and that trade, it's probably the most boneheaded trade of the last 50 years.
Texans is like, we lost the NFC Championship again. What should we do? Trade Hopkins for a third round pick.
Yeah. I think they were like, I think they were one bad night away from the CFO lighting himself on fire in the parking lot in Houston. And I just think it's like, we talked to death about the catastrophic downturn of the Houston Texans, but the Arizona Cardinals are the beneficiaries of it, and apparently the biggest beneficiaries of it, other than like the American justice system when it comes to Deshaun Watson. But I think, basic justice and goodness everywhere, hopefully. But I just think there's nothing, you can't justify it. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, the math, 2 + 2 = 5, but like, they win every fucking game they play, dude. They win every game they play, and that offense. You know what? Who else it doesn't make sense to? Every defense that goes out to play them, because they're like, wait, I can see it in their faces every time they get burned for one. They're going, wait, but we did everything right. I don't understand. So there's no game tape to then bring in and be like, all right, here's what we need to do against the Arizona Cardinals. Here's what we need to do against them. You tell me what you're going to fucking do against them, because I bet they're going to have a weird game and lose. They're not going to go undefeated.
Cowboys Cardinals 63-55 final score.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But again, it's about matchups. And I think that the Cardinals are built to beat a team like the Cowboys, unfortunately.
There. Agreed.
So, but honestly, I gave you like 7 out of 10 or like 7 out of 9 that like you would either give a great game to or definitely out and out win. So I think Bills, Ravens, Cardinals, those are your 3 biggest obstacles, because I think you guys do better against traditional pocket passers. I think you'd even beat the Chiefs right now, because everybody seems to be able to do that. So fuck it.
You read my mind with that question. So, because we play the Chiefs, And that's been the one
exciting.
game we played the Chiefs this year. And it's been one game of the rest of the schedule. I have a screenshot of the Cowboys quarterbacks play the rest of the year. It'll take me too long to pull it up. But it's like all under average quarterbacks for the rest of the year except Mahomes. And that's the one game I'm eyeing where I'm like, man, that's the game where the Cowboys could have trouble. But the Chiefs defense isn't going to do shit against the Cowboys. I can already guarantee you that. I think we can beat the Chiefs.
Well, everybody beats the Chiefs now.
I mean, yeah.
It's not that impressive anymore.
It's so weird, by the way, to fill out a top 10 and not have the Chiefs in it.
They dropped out of the top 10 pretty aggressively. But that's not your fault. That's their fault.
That is their fault.
You know, I thought we might have gone to the Celtics, hence why I wore this hat, but I think we're out of time. But I will say,
Jaylen Brown is the fucking truth. That's what we can
say. He is,
say.
but God damn it, can Jason Tatum just go to the fucking rim?
Oh,
like, how many years?
It looked like
of
last
this?
year, Tatum. Yeah, it did.
Oh my God. Well, anyway, whatever. I saw some positive signs, but we can catch this one on another show.
Yeah, fair enough. You want to take us out? I took us in. You take us out.
I've been last time we see you for a while, Bobby.
Oh, that's right.
Oh shit,
man.
everybody! Bobby is having a child pretty soon. And I want everybody to wish him a congratulations and put all positive things out into the universe for him. Glad your team's doing well, dude. Keep in touch in the chat and obviously make some time for us if you can, but I don't think you're going to get a lot of sleep. But your place in the show is obviously always safe. And, if you need to take paternity leave, please do so in order to bond with your child. But try to get back to the important stuff as soon as you can, which is bullshitting about sports on a podcast with your friends.
Listen, she's already got her Cowboys onesies ready, so
yeah,
don't worry.
You're gonna be so pissed when she turns out to be an Eagles fan.
Oh, bro, I will disown. If there's one team I would disown her for, it's the fucking Eagles. Eagles.
Can I sell you on the Bears?
She can be a Bears fan.
All right,
as long as it's not the goddamn Eagles.
Thank you all for tuning in. It might be a little while till we see Bobby because he's going to be a busy new dad, a girl dad, which is awesome. But thanks for listening to the show. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, dude. Can't wait. Very excited for you. Can't wait to see the photos. And thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good evening.
Hey there, I'm DC. I host the rock podcast, Back to the Arena, The Interviews. It's about a 30-minute podcast where I talk one-on-one with a band who has released new music. You can find us on all the best podcast sites like Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, and more. If you're a rock fan like me, subscribe today to Back to the Arena, The Interview.
Electricast. Hey there, fabulous souls. I'm Stephanie Baklaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Unapologetically Fab.
Get ready to join us on an amazing and real journey as we dive into life after 40 and own it.
We're all about changing the narrative, leaning into who you are, and living a life by your own design.
Join us as we embrace life unapologetically and redefine success.
This is Unapologetically Fab,
an Electricast production.
See you there.
Electricast. Electricast.